Alrighty folks, I want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. Hopefully anybody that's been watching this video has already gone on over, hit the subscribe. If you haven't, stop now, pause now, go on over, hit the subscribe button. I need you guys all to subscribe. So for this video, let's pick it up. Hopefully you've gone on over and hit the subscribe and you're coming on back. For this video, I know I've covered this subject a lot, but it's one of these factors that I wanted to cover again because of the rabbit hole. This is the rabbit hole year, and it's pretty much a simple tech item, or is it? It's something as simple as a keyboard. Is a keyboard simple? I have an unboxing of this keyboard when I bought it, and I explained why I bought it. Why I bought it? Because it was an LED keyboard. Has LEDs underneath the keys. Some of the videos, when I show things on the screen, you'll see the keyboards kind of lit up with different colors. It came with a mouse. Well, the mouse actually broke, but that's okay. I bought another mouse. What's funny is this one, I didn't realize, had LED in it also. So this kind of brought up a whole new rabbit hole that really I did not really consider until I did videos. And oh, that'd be nice if it's lit up and it does certain things. Well, maybe you're one of those type that want LED. Of course, there's your connection, USB, wireless, Bluetooth, all these other 1.5 million other things. Other thing there is that we've come across when we bought some computers is they sent in gaming keyboards. There are different style keyboards. There are ones that are supposed to help your wrist where the keyboard's split and it's like a V-shaped and kind of weird. Different style mice, ball mice, this kind of mice. There's different ones out there. USB, wireless, all that stuff I mentioned. You can get sets. You can get a set of USB wireless keyboard mouse where it uses one single dongle. That's something to think about if you buy a small computer. Maybe you have a lot of components where you don't want a keyboard and mouse both plugged in. You can actually use one USB port instead of two. So these were some of these little like rabbit hole type of things that don't really come into play a lot. That probably aren't of your train of thought. But it's one of those things where technology's moving to smaller tech. I have an unboxing on the little video of the little computer that I use to capture my videos. Knowing what you have, what you might have, knowing if I go from a wired keyboard and mouse to a little dongle in the back, it'll give me one extra USB port because maybe all my USB ports are full and it'd be nice to have the future growth potential. Wormhole. Then you have to buy batteries and stuff for your mouse. Is it LED at that point? Probably not, because it uses more power, uses more juice. So that was kind of the interesting part of keyboard and mouses for the wormhole, rabbit hole type of thing. The wormhole where it sucks you in, because now you start looking at one thing and you start getting deeper and deeper and deeper in, because now you're gaming, now you're doing other things, and you need higher performance keyboards and mice and other things with lower latencies and other things like that. That's a whole different ballpark. Then you get into a lot of other things. One of the old ports that's still floating around is the PS2 port. Keep hearing a lot about how that looks like it's going to come back. It's going to come back for gaming. because it's a dedicated port to the board. Don't know if you can really find too many keyboards and mice out there for that. But since they're talking about it for a gaming purpose, you're probably going to find it. If you're looking for a gaming mouse or something of a higher performance, I would keep my eyes on to make sure that it's actually USB. Knowing that, because everybody pretty much nowadays assumes it's going to be a USB mouse. Because that is pretty much the standard. But to keep an eye out and make sure that wireless, there's lots of different wireless connections. Not only Wi-Fi, not only Bluetooth, there's a lot of different weird proprietary connections out there. The frequencies on them. Because we've run into that problem with one specific keyboard out of, say, 30 we bought has some kind of frequency problem. If something else is on that frequency, or the dongle and the keyboard aren't quite matching that frequency somehow, we have issues. So knowing that and being able to troubleshoot that, it's going to be a whole nother factor. You might not be able to troubleshoot it and have to return it and get a new one. Knowing those type of things will help you out in the future. So I wanted to cover this really shortly because it can be a rabbit hole. It can be the little tiny thing that you're just going to go get a mouse. You're just going to go get a keyboard. And you walk into the store again. Here's the scenario. 99 cents, $199 for this. What's the difference? Scroll. Some of them have buttons on the side. Some of them are bigger. Some of them are arched. Some of them, they're different, completely different animals when you look at how they're designed. It's not just that simple. Keyboards have different layouts. Gaming mouse or gaming keyboard, where the delete, where the enter buttons are. Sometimes some things are a little bit shift around. Split. If it has that wrist block where it helps how high your keyboards are, how much force you have to put down before it triggers the keystroke. All of those type of things. A big thing with me with keyboards is this one is not bad, but I've seen them where the keys are heavily arched in the center, and they all come up and have points where you can almost like get snagged between going from one row key to the other. How smooth that is, knowing that's where I'm at. Knowing how much some of them have little plastic dividers in there that come up in between, and then do you pinch your finger? How far does it go? There's little tiny variables in keyboards that you might like, don't like. This one has nothing in between, and the buttons stick way up. And the reason why that was designed that way is, of course, it's LED underneath. That's the only reason I picked this one. And it ended up working out really nice, and I kind of liked it. Depending on the keyboard, standoffs, how far they raise up. This one does hardly nothing. There's some that will stand. There's some that have multiple legs. There's a long leg and a short leg that will stand up. So you have two different. So there's different variables on keyboards, different things to do with a keyboard that I just wanted to go through and do a quick little video on so you do your homework. Because maybe you don't like the keyboard that came with the computer you have. Keyboard I had was, I believe, a PS2 keyboard. Came with my old compact. I got the video of my original compact when I took it apart, all of that, when I disposed of it. It had hotkey buttons on the top. It had play, it had stop, it had all these type of things so you can turn your movie player on. It had all these nice little keys that I liked. It was a nice, comfortable feel. The plastic around the sides came out. It had edge on it. It was more of a comfortable keyboard. It didn't move as much as this one does. It stayed in place. It was a firm, solid keyboard. Didn't slide around. I liked that keyboard. I used it for a long time until the new modern tech with the new USBs. And even at that point, I bought the adapter from PS2 to USB and I was still using it until it totally just broke down. So you can use old keyboards. You can buy adapters and other things to use the old style keyboards if you like that style keyboards. I know there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that have a lot of data on a lot of keyboards. What the millisecond delays are, the latency, all of those type of things. If that's a factor that comes into your realm, gamers and other things that need that, maybe you are taking notes for someone and you have to type real quick. You don't want it to miss certain letters because you're typing faster than it's registering. You want it to capture everything you put in there. Knowing that keyboard, knowing the latency and all of that stuff might be a factor. So this is why I wanted to do this video, to go through and shine light on this, because I know it's a little simple factor, and I know I already have videos on keyboards and mice and all of that, so I know I'm duplicating what I already have, but because of the year of the rabbit hole, I wanted to touch base on that again, because this to me is considered a rabbit hole subject. And if you watch, you're going to go, man, there's a lot of stuff in here he considers rabbit holes. Almost everything can be considered a rabbit hole right now. Because technology has moved so fast and so forward. Unless you're on this cutting edge, you don't need it. Most of us are probably way down here. And when you look at stuff, you're looking at stuff that's here or even lower, the real low end stuff. You're looking at medium stuff, and then you're seeing stuff way up here, and you're not, wait. I know this one's no good because this is too slow, or it's, ugly looking, or it doesn't have the wrist brace, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. I don't like the key structure, maybe the key's removed. Maybe it doesn't have the number pad next to it. Maybe it's just the short little keyboard only. There's certain little factors like that that will get you in. But then when you go and look and you see $49.99, $3.99, what's the difference? You're going to have those comparisons out there because of the tech. Do you really need to spend $399 on a keyboard? That might be just a keyboard, not a mouse. That might be the whole combination. Knowing those factors, knowing all of that, and knowing to actually look for it, to be aware of it, is the key. That's okay, and why I'm doing these videos is so you're aware of it and to look for it. So when you go in and you see that, you're not thinking, well, that company's just crazy. They're just charging way too much for their product. There might be a very valid reason why they're charging that much for their product. I know in the old days, there were some companies that are out there that were just doing that. You'd go in and apples to apples, and there's no way this is 4 times the price of this. So you went with the other thing that was cheaper. Of course, you were probably perfectly fine with the one that was cheaper, but maybe that had 1 or 2 little features that you didn't really need. Those buttons to autoplay from your DVD player. guess what? This little one doesn't even have a DVD player. So, would that feature be valid? Doesn't even have any video files on there. It's used to capture videos, and then it's transferred off. So to pay more money for a feature on a keyboard that your computer's not even going to use might be a factor. So I want to wrap this one up because I have lots of other videos on this subject, but it's the rabbit hole year. It's a rabbit hole subject, and I could ramble on for 2 hours on it, but there's no point. I think you got the basics. If you need to research more, do your homework, go watch the other videos. And again, hit the subscribe. Thank you.